When you think about Easter, what is a story from your life that comes to mind?
The first thing that comes to mind when I think about Easter is growing up with my family. My mom's side of the family, we all lived really close together growing up, and so we spent a lot of time together.
Normally what comes to mind is family time. Because normally on Easter, me and my sisters, we would wake up, and then my mom would sometimes have like Easter eggs hid around the house. So we would find the Easter eggs, then we would open up our Easter baskets and then get ready for church. We would all go to church on Sunday together, and then we would go to my grandmother's house.
What is the first thing that comes to mind?
I guess it's triumphant.
Okay, that is a really specific word.
I don't know, and I guess we so often think of this as life coming in as death being our sacrifice, but it's what made us confident that death meant anything, that he was who he said he was. And I mean, for those 3 days that he was dead, everyone was hiding. And so the resurrection kind of came and obviously turned all of the cowering disciples and his followers and actually gave him, I guess, a confidence. Again, they got, there's a validity that everything that Jesus said about himself was true.
That's the most important thing in my life. So, of course, that's going to be the first thing I think about. And that ain't just a church answer.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus is everything to me.
In what ways do you try to keep that in mind during Easter time?
I think about, I will say that before moving to Texas, when I was back home in Tennessee growing up, we always had family get-togethers on Easter. So for me, it's about salvation and about my family, which growing up in a Christian family, like in a Christian extended family, every family get-together starts with prayer. And so for me, it's always been, Easter is about Jesus and family.
I loved Easter with my family when I was a kid. I went and I did the Easter egg hunt and I ate candy and it was lovely and I loved it. However, I spent the whole day with my family and I spent that at home. So how it's different is now I start my day by going and seeing my other family. So like the people who are the closest to me, and that is I start by going to my church. And then I go to my Sunday school, which I'm one of the teachers of, and I see my community. I see my community there. I share in that. I go and I actually talk to God now, which I didn't used to at all, and
We understood that Easter is not about the Easter egg hunt or the Easter bunny. I mean, we made sure that we understood that Easter was about Christ. And it was about the sacrifice that he made on the cross, the death that he died, and his resurrection. And so we did that fun stuff just because we were kids. But my grandparents and my mom and dad always made sure that our focus was on Christ and not on the candy and the gifts and that kind of stuff.
It says in 1 Corinthians how, if he didn't raise from the dead, we're worse than unbelievers. We're just foolish walking around.
When I was about 5 years old, I had my appendix taken out and I almost died.
Oh, goodness.
If the surgery had started like a minute later, my appendix would have ruptured and before they got it out, and I probably would have died because of how young I was. But that happened right before Easter. I feel like I grew up a lot in that week. Because, I realized as like a little kid, man, I could have died. And I know that's a little off topic, but
No, not at all.
when it comes to Easter, I guess that death and resurrection of Jesus and that story really hit me. Man, I was only asleep for how many hours? I mean, I'm like a little kid, so this like, little 5-year-old, like, man, he was asleep for a long time. Later on that year during a fall revival is when I got saved.
I was highly involved in youth and stuff like that
Here at Calvary. Okay.
at Calvary. And then I got out of church for a little while, and I stopped coming altogether for about a year. And then I came back to MTC.
Okay.
And then I started doing events with everybody. Like literally after that, we hung out that Friday, because MTC's Thursday. So we hung out on Friday, and then we hung out on Saturday, and then we had church on Sunday. And it was like, so I'd been going through all this stuff before then, and like as soon as I walked into MTC, it's just like everything flipped back to the way it was before I stopped. At this place, I found myself at my worst. Like I didn't have anybody I could count on or trust. And it goes back to like feeling refreshed as soon as I walked into MTC. And like when you have Christ, none of it matters. None of the baggage. It's like, it's all wiped clean. You can just forget about it. It's not a worry for you.
Is there something that you want to keep more in mind as we move closer towards Easter?
I mean, I think it's just a time to like reflect on Christ and everything that He's done in your life and every place that He's put you or directions that you've gone in and that He's pulled you out of. Because I think that's the whole point of Easter to begin with, is like the reason for Christ. And so you can reflect that on your own life of, okay, what has Christ done for me here? What? And why do I need Him? And like how I remember that I need Christ every day is like before I leave for work every day, Tyler always tells me, be safe. And I was like, oh, I have to say a promise. That's like our thing. And then I get to work and we say the pledge. And before the end of shift meeting, we always, the sergeant always prays. Like it's that like slight reminder that, okay, to get through this shift or to get through this day, I need to, yes, be safe, but I just need to rely on God for it. I need to rely on Him to, one, get through this phase and get done with work, pretty much.